What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and thank you guys for joining me, as always, for the Week 12 First Look Lineup vid. As you guys know, in the beginning of the week, on Tuesday, we always go through and we put a lineup together. We're not going to talk about anybody outside of our lineup mainly. We might stumble on a couple people that we'll mention, but outside of that, our main focus is setting a lineup, talking about the guys in that lineup, get you guys started on a first look, and then later on in the week, come back on Friday and do a full slate breakdown, position by position, and talk everybody in our player pool. All right. So, without further ado, make sure you drop a like down below. Comment down below who you think is going to be the highest scoring player on DraftKings and their point total for a chance at $100. Good luck, y'all. It has been a while since we got it. Somebody got it like week 3, and ever since we have not had anybody get it. So keep trying. Put down below who you think is going to be the highest scorer this week. Let's get straight into it. I have some fire for this first look. Like, I'm loving this first look, and I will say, to start it out, this first look feels more GPP than cash, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. This is a more GPP type of build, but I'm really, really loving the possibilities here. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Starting off at quarterback, the quarterback that I am leaning for this first look lineup is going to be Derek Carr. Derek Carr feels a little too cheap at 5'7". I feel like he's going to get you 20 or more here against Atlanta. It's in a dome. You know my thing when it comes to quarterbacks, I like to pick a quarterback in a good matchup in a dome. Whether he's home or not, I would prefer them home, but whether he's home or not, like, him and Matt Ryan are both in play here. All right, the reason I'm going Derek Carr is I will show you in a minute the reason why, especially in this line. But I do like Matt Ryan as well at home in a dome. I like both of these guys in domes, good matchups. But I'm going to lean Derek Carr going against Atlanta. That Atlanta secondary is not very good, and there are definitely spots that you could take advantage of here. And I am expecting Las Vegas to do just that. All right, we are going to get into who we're going to take advantage of on that defense, but let's go ahead and get to running back. Starting off, Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook is going against Carolina, one of the worst run defenses in the entire league. I've been playing him a shit ton lately just because, especially in cash games. I mean, even in GPP, he's got the highest upside, honestly. He's got the highest upside and one of the highest floors that you can possibly have. So Dalvin Cook is in a fantastic spot at home in Minnesota in a dome, going against the Carolina squad that gave up almost 30 to Ronald Jones. Dalvin Cook's in a great spot here. I wouldn't be surprised to see 30 or more DraftKings points out of him in this one. All right. Next up, I got a little value guy who has sneakily been very, very solid. Wayne Goldman Jr., especially when it comes to getting in the end zone. He's got 5 touchdowns the last 4 games. He's averaging about 15 carries per game. He always gets you about 2 to 3 targets as well. Going against Cincinnati, we all know what type of matchup this is. We love to pick on Cincinnati with the run game. All right, Cincinnati's going to be without Burrow. Unfortunately, Burrow is out for the year, torn ACL and MCL. So he's going to be out. So I like the Giants defense a lot, and I love pairing the Giants D up with Gallman on the other side because I do believe the Giants will be able to run pretty comfortably here in this one. And I like Gallman a lot at only 5K as a value. All right, now let's get to wide receivers and let's talk why. Let's start out with the pairing of Derek Carr, and I'm leaning Henry Ruggs here. Okay, now first and foremost, Henry Ruggs is a super talented rookie. All right, we know that first and foremost. Secondly, he runs the majority of his routes on the right side of the line. Okay, he is most of the time he's on the right side of the formation. Okay, that is fantastic news going against Atlanta, who on the right side you have Darqueze Dennard for Atlanta, who is getting targeted 28% of the time. Okay? To put that in perspective, Isaiah Oliver, who plays the slot for my Atlanta Falcons, only gets targeted 19% of the time. A.J. Terrell, rookie for Atlanta, playing on the left side, only gets targeted 18%. So offenses are targeting Dennard week in, week out. Atlanta's secondary is already bad. I'm expecting Las Vegas to understand that and come in realizing that. And for our boy Henry Ruggs, who plays majority of his snaps on the right side, you're going to have Aguilar on the left, Renfro in the slot, and Ruggs on the right, and I'm expecting Ruggs to take full advantage of this matchup. The dude is a fantastic route runner, fantastic hands, and I'm expecting a big game out of him going against Derek Carr. Next up, we're not just playing these guys for no reason. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk Devonta Parker. All right, Devonta Parker is another guy. By the way, I do like Tua as well if you want to pair up Tua. All right, but Devonta Parker, I am down with playing any receivers against the Jets right now. They're missing some top cornerbacks. They're absolutely struggling here, missing some top cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks are struggling bad. You see what Keenan Allen just did against them. Their secondary is incredibly hurt right now. Every single one of these cornerbacks are giving up 0.50 fantasy points per route or more. Okay? So it is a fantastic spot for Devonta Parker. Devonta runs majority of his routes on the right side. He's luckily going to see a ton of Lamar Jackson, which is not the quarterback, but the Jets corner on the right side of their formation, who gives up 0.69, which is one of the highest on the entire slate. Matter of fact, it's probably the highest on the entire slate at fantasy points given up per route run. Okay? And Devonta Parker happens to be matched up against him. Love Devonta against that Jets secondary. I think he's going off this week at 5'9". Love Devonta. Next up, another matchup that we're going to take full advantage of. Larry Fitzgerald is only 3.8, and let me explain why this is a great value to grab. Okay? Larry Fitzgerald runs predominantly all of his routes out of the slot. Correct? Now, why did we play Randall Cobb last week? Randall ended up getting hurt, or it would have been an easy cash weekend for us. Unfortunately, we can't get out of a Sunday without an injury. But Randall Cobb caught the touchdown in the first quarter and then got hurt and never came back. Or he would have had a big game because you know why? It's plain and simple, teams target Jonathan Jones, this New England slot cornerback. He gets targeted 28% of the time compared to J.C. Jackson being targeted 20%, compared to Stephon Gilmore being targeted 21%. He gives up 0.44 fantasy points per route ran. He is probably like the second worst cornerback on this entire slate. Jonathan Jones out of the slot for New England. Larry Fitzgerald has an amazing matchup here in this one. I'm loving him at 3.8 in this matchup against Jonathan Jones. And as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to do what Randall Cobb should have done and probably rack up 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. All right? Like, I don't know about 2, 3 touchdowns, but Cobb was at least going to get 2 touchdowns. He was going to smash in this matchup. He was getting good targets. He got the touchdown and then unfortunately got hurt. Expect Larry Fitzgerald to be the target of Arizona as well once again because these offenses obviously know, like, look, this is their weak spot on their defense. This is where we need to target. All right? All right, so pairing up with Derek Carr, I love Waller. And this is the reason I leaned Carr. Okay, because I love Ruggs, I love Waller, might as well go the quarterback with both of them. So Derek Carr paired up with Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller. Atlanta is a bad defense, especially secondary-wise. They've been doing okay versus the run, but secondary-wise, they have struggled. So I'm expecting Darren Waller, they're really their number one receiver on this Las Vegas team, and Henry Ruggs to really shine, and you guys know why Henry Ruggs is going to shine. I mentioned it, I broke it down for you earlier. Love Ruggs, love Waller in this one. Especially with Aguilar going off last game, this is a Ruggs game. All right. Now, in the flex, because we have these 3 Las Vegas people, and one thing you do need to keep an eye on, because I noticed he's banged up and he struggled even finishing this game last game, but it's going to be Julio Jones running it back. Okay? Julio Jones running it back. Now, if Julio ends up being out, I'm perfectly fine with you going Calvin Ridley there. Okay? In this first look, if you want to, enter this in a GPP, remember, things change as the week goes on. Injuries are going to pop up, more places that we'll be able to take advantage of. But if Julio doesn't play, I love Calvin Ridley in this build, running back Las Vegas. But for right now, I'm going to keep Julio Jones. Let me put Julio back in. I'm going to keep Julio Jones and expect that he will be out there and play. At 6'5", he's in a fantastic situation here, going against the Las Vegas secondary that struggles. He's at home in Atlanta in a dome, and plain and simple, just for roster construction, we have 3 Las Vegas, so I love running it back with a big-time player on the Atlanta side, and that is Julio Jones. And like I said, if Julio misses, I will definitely get Calvin Ridley in, and then I'll save on this defense. But as of right now with Julio Jones, I'm going the Giants defense paired up with Wayne Gallman. I talked about it before. Cincinnati was already a team that picking on them with defenses was fine to do. Now Joe Burrow is out, and Joe Burrow was a bright spot on the Cincinnati team. But now that he's out, you're going to have Finley coming in and being the quarterback for Cincinnati. This is definitely a spot I can see defenses having some success here against Cincinnati. So I really like the Giants' defense paired up with Goldman. You guys know me. I love to pair a running back up with defense because most of the time that'll correlate together. If a running back's getting a ton of carries, that means the defense is doing a damn good job on the other end, and it just correlates well. All right? And that's it for the first look. We got Derek Carr going against Atlanta in a dome, bad secondary. Dalvin Cook, don't need to explain. Wayne Gallman's just been a touchdown monster. He gets all the touches in the red zone. Love him against Cincinnati's run D. Henry Ruggs against Atlanta. We talked about it. This Atlanta defense, they're already a bad secondary, but the main part that you want to target is that right side of their formation. And that is always where Denard is going to line up. And the best part for us is Henry Ruggs also lines up on that side. So expect a breakout game from Henry Ruggs III in his rookie year. Devonta Parker, same situation. Plain and simple. You want to pick on this Jets secondary right now. They're bottom in the league, one of the worst. They're hurt really bad right now, missing corners already. They're going to suck. They're giving up .50 fantasy points per route ran, every single one of them or more. So you want to play against them. And Devonta Parker's got the best matchup you can have against the Jets corner in Lamar Jackson. Not the quarterback for Baltimore, but the cornerback for the Jets. All right, Larry Fitzgerald. Once again, Jonathan Jones you want to pick on in this New England matchup here. Okay, first things first, we know Arizona is one of the quickest teams in the league. They run the most snaps, they play fast, okay? So that in turn equals more fantasy points for our players. Outside of that, Larry Fitzgerald runs out of the slot facing Jonathan Jones, one of the worst cornerbacks in the league. Happens to be the slot receiver for New England. Beautiful at only 3.8. Great value. Darren Waller going against Atlanta to pair up with Ruggs and Carr. Running it back with Julio Jones. Keep an eye on him. He's got a hamstring issue. If he plays, I love him. If he doesn't, go Calvin Ridley and then save off the Giants defense. If you have to go Ridley, you're going to have to save on the Giants. I'm completely fine with doing that and punting. But as of right now, I'm going to expect Julio plays. I like Julio, and I like the Giants defense against Cincinnati without Joe Burrow starting Finley paired up with Goldman in that correlation there. All right. And that's it, y'all. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Greenlightdfs.com. Join the squad. Go ahead and hit up the site. Join the squad for week 12 now. That way you get exposure to the college football throughout the week that we have been destroying, as well as the showdowns and stuff for Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. All right. Thank you guys for joining me as always, and I'm out. Peace.